In today's video, I am going to be reflecting on my January 2026 goals and setting up some goals for the month of February. So stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm Tracy and I want to welcome you back to my channel. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. And yes, today I am going to be doing some reflecting when it comes to my January goals, not only whether or not I did them or did not do them, but whether or not I like the way I'm setting goals. I'm not talking about the system or anything like that, just how stringent I am with the goals. Should I be maybe focusing on less categories or what have you? So I'm gonna take what I learned from the month of January and apply that to February, and then we'll go from there. So before I get into this part of the reflections, I do want to look at my January goals just to remind myself exactly what they were. So I have been doing weekly action steps every single week. I have not always been filming them for you guys, but they're pretty similar each and every week because a lot of my goals just require repetitive weekly kind of to-dos in order to achieve those goals. So that's the reason why my weekly action steps are pretty repetitive. So let's quickly talk about my goals. Now, I do not think, if I can remember correctly, that I did not film a January goal setting video. And the reason why I did not film it is because I did an entire month of goal setting prep work in the month of December for 2026. And I filmed my 2026 goal setting process with you guys, as well as setting those goals, or those focus areas is what I kind of want to call them. Where are they? Here they are here. You can see they aren't super stringent. They're kind of very words and kind of things like that. And then I set some quarter one intentions. These are the things that I pulled from my annual goals to focus on in quarter one. And I started basing this on things that I thought were coming up in the month. I don't have anything to add here yet, but I was kind of taking into account the season, winter, cold, things like that, and anything that I had coming up in the next 3 months, so January, February, and March, that could impact my quarter one. So that's what I did there. And then from that, I broke it down a little bit further and did my goals. Now, when it comes to my monthly goals, I kind of find that a lot of these are action steps for me. I kind of, set the overall intention or the thing I want to focus on in each of these categories as part of my annual goals, and then I start breaking them down almost like action steps within itself. So that's why it does become a little bit repetitive, but I still want to film it for you guys, that way you can kind of see my process and things like that. So for the month of January, I did set goals in each of these categories. So when it comes to personal, if you did not catch my goal setting video, when I am thinking of personal, I am thinking of the foundation, the things that I need to have in order for all of these other things to kind of fall in place. And when I'm thinking about the foundation or the framework or what have you, I'm thinking about routines, and I'm also thinking about planning, because when you plan, you kind of know what's going on in your life, so you can plan everything else as far as even goals go. So those are kind of the focus areas when it comes to personal. So I wanted to set up routines for the week. AM, midday, evening, and bedtime routines were the four routine categories that I would have, with midday and evening kind of being the ones I wanted to kind of focus on. I wanted to audit those routines on Sunday to reflect on them, and I wanted to change up my routine each week if needed. I will tell you, this did not happen. So I did set up routines at the beginning of the month, and I did set them up in my catch-all planner, which, let me grab that. I have that on my work desk. So my catch-all planner stays on my work desk because that's kind of where I sit down Monday through Friday most of the day. So that's where I can go and kind of set up everything for the day. All right. So what I did was I used the overview pages in my Hemlock and Oak, and I just quickly wrote down a few things for my morning and my wake up and my bedtime routine. Now, I really didn't kind of go too much in depth. For my AM routine, I did skincare, hot tea, Duolingo, planner check-in, journal, and stretch. And for my PM routine, it was skincare, stretch, meditate, read, and journal. I think the only things that I pretty much did was skincare and read for the PM. So I did skincare morning and evening and then read. My journaling just kind of happened whenever. So yeah, and I did audit it in a way as I was doing my weekly action steps. That is when I came in and audited all of my kind of routines and how things were going, because for week 1 I wanted to set my routines, which I did. I just showed you, so I did set them. And then week 2 I wanted to follow through with them. I did not do that. I did not set an evening routine either. And then I wanted to start focusing on my AM routine on the 3rd week, the 4th week evening routine, and then I just put routines question mark for the 5th week. So you can see how well that went. I don't know why I am struggling with routines. And the reason why I say I don't know why I'm struggling, because I am someone who likes routines. I like consistency. It makes me comfortable. But for some reason, I am really struggling with it. And it's not a new struggle. It is a struggle that I had in all of 2025. I believe I was somewhat better prior to 2025, if I can remember. I can't, but I think I was better. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I never was good, and when I can't figure out if I was or not, I just assume I was good at it. I'm babbling. But yeah, so yeah, this is something I think I'm going to have to continue, and I really need to evaluate how best to do this. Yeah, because this is something that I really feel like is essential, and for some reason I'm just not doing it. And some of the things that were in my routine, I am completely doing away with. We'll get to that. Then we have planning, reflections, and weekly setups. Going great. Put everything on the calendar. Going great. My catch-all, which is this Hemlock and Oak weekly vertical, is going absolutely fantastic. Now we are just starting the last week of the month, but this is just going so good for me. It's working so well. It is, a new to me planner. I've never used that before, so maybe that's why it's going well. Something new is exciting. So I don't know. We'll have to see if it continues. I want to be optimistic, so we'll say it will. So that's been going great. All right, fun and recreation. Okay, so I guess, should I check this off? Maybe I should check it off. So that way, when I look back at this, like in December, I can be like, look how great I was in the month of January. I'm not going to put X's next to the one that I didn't do. I'm just going to check off the ones I did. So I did book my May trip. I did put March or other. I haven't even thought about that. I have a pretty busy work year coming up, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Outings and experiences. Book at least 2 outings. I did not do that. With friends and our parents, and at least 1 new experience. I did plan on doing 1 outing. I'm filming this early in the week, the final week of January. I planned on going somewhere Saturday. We had a pretty big sleet storm, which was better than the freeze and rainstorm they said we were going to get. But nothing has melted, and nothing is going to melt for, the rest of this month. So I'm not really sure about my Saturday outing plans. Plus, they're also calling for a potential storm that day too. So yeah, regardless, I think we can just say no. Whether it has to do with me or the weather, it still didn't happen. All right, so for work and learning, this is just social media stuff. I did finalize my January schedule, and I did start planning and I did start planning for February. I didn't do as much as I should have, but we'll still check that off. I still have a few days left. So, and then this for learning, I'm completely going to nix that, which is my, Duolingo and hand lettering. I really want to get better at that. It's just, I'm finding myself not having the time to do it. And that's just because I'm really prioritizing some of my other creative projects. And I would rather do that than do some of this. And I know some of this takes like 5 minutes, but still, it's the, Duolingo, I would do that in the morning. So I might eventually just pop up and do it, but I think I'm going to take it off the goals. But as far as hand lettering, it's just getting out the books, getting out the supplies, and then doing it. Just feels like a process. So I need to also figure that out. Like I said, I'm enjoying all of my other creative projects. So that's just been put on the back burner. So I think that's going to be a next for, I'm just going to put a pin in that for the moment. Friends, I have been checking in with my friends, but I have not really done any plans. Like I said, we're making plans and they still could happen. Actually, the 2 plans this month could still technically happen because one's Friday and one's Saturday, which are the last 2 days of the month. I'm just not sure yet. For health and wellness, consistency. Now, I have a completely separate health and wellness planner or journal that I've been doing my goals in. So that's the reason why I'm not really focusing on goals for here. So it's going to be the same. I'm probably just going to put that here as well. I have not really been consistent, but I have been working out each week. I have been getting better when it comes to eating as well. But I'm not where I want to be, especially at this point at the beginning of the year, because I'm kind of allowing myself to grow and get better. I would have rather started out stronger, but I'm giving myself grace there, and we are just going to keep going with the flow. So we'll just keep on moving for that, because I spend a lot of time talking about that when I do my wellness setups. So for spiritual and personal growth, so for this category, I focus on my personal growth. And I have an affirmations journal a minimum of 3 times a week. Nope, has not happened. I have actually skipped some weeks. Again, there are just other journals that I've been playing in. Daily memory keeping, daily, no. I am trying to get better at it. I have been going back and memory keeping, but the purpose of the daily memory keeping is to assist me with my weekly memory keeping book. And if I'm not doing that daily memory keeping, it's making it a little bit harder, and I've already ran into that issue. So I definitely need to do that. It does not need to be fancy. It can be just pen on the paper. So that has been a priority starting this week. I've been trying to get back into the groove of that, because I had to pretty much fill in for the entire prior week on Sunday, and that was hard to do. Dear Diary, I think I'm going to take that away. It's just, I don't love to write about my feelings, and I think that's okay. Do I think it's probably something that would make things better? Yes, but I'm not going to force myself to do it. So I'm going to take that off as well. If I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. I'm just going to take that off. And then my 3-year journal, 12 times. Yes, I've been doing that. That's so strange that that's the one thing I managed to keep up with. For spending, I wanted to set a spending limit for non-essentials and track my spending weekly. This was super easy. I did not do much spending at all. I think when it comes to craft supplies, I bought some 2026 Hemlock and Oak deeply discounted planners. They had some that was like heavily damaged, but it was just discoloration. It was like $9 versus $80. And I'm not going to use them this year. I'll use them next year. I'm okay in my 2025s this year. That's how I roll. It was like 90% off. So that, and then I bought some whiteout tape. I think that is all that I actually purchased in the month of January thus far. But I'm not going to purchase anything else just because of the weather. I don't want to have any deliveries. So I did really well. And then the other non-essentials, I don't think I really did buy very much, if anything. So I think we were good there. I think I'm going to hold off on the savings account. I think I want to keep it on my radar. I have a savings account that has a really good interest rate, but I was looking at maybe supplementing that with something else to have it for specific like items, like, have put money into that, and then that fund would be for like a big purchase. But I'm just going to keep my eye out for bonuses that they offer if you open a new account, and we'll just go from there. And then a savings plan. I have upped my savings, so I guess we can check that off. Oh, we can check this off, and then we can check this off. Okay. I'm not checking things off. Chores, weekly routine. No, I just been going with the flow. And decluttering bedrooms and closets, did not do that at all. Nope. So you can kind of see, I actually did plan my outings and stuff. So I'm going to check this off for my friends. I don't know if I mentioned this when I was going through this, but for family and relationships right here, I'm kind of just focusing on friends. For family, I'm focusing more on the outings. When it talks about family, it's my parents. Friends is everything else, everybody else. So yeah, that's how I'm doing it. So I'm going to check that off because I made the plans. Yes, I made the plans for the very end of the month, which is when all the bad weather happened. Okay, so let's do some reflections, hopefully really quick. So my biggest wins this month were, I think I've done really, really well. This is going to sound so like minuscule and so unimportant, but I think if you're watching this video, you probably get it. I am very proud that I have adjusted so well to my new journals and my planners. Yeah, it's really been working well. It's been fun, and I haven't let it overwhelm me or overwhelm my day time-wise either. So I feel like I've been managing them pretty well. I feel like the ones that I'm struggling with that I was going over here, like my affirmations journal and stuff like that, it's not a time issue. It's just those are not ones. I don't like writing a lot of touchy-feely stuff down on paper, and that's kind of like that too, and that's kind of what's preventing me from doing it. It's not I have too many journals and too much stuff like that. It's just that's just something that makes me uncomfortable. So I guess I should have said that then, but yeah. So my biggest wins, I was gonna say, it was what I just said. The other thing is I actually had, I did a presentation for work. It was my first one. I have been there for quite a while, but my primary duty is usually something else. So this was kind of like one of the things that I usually don't have to do. So that was a really big win. So I'm going to put that in. Because remember, when it comes to wins, we need to celebrate all the small things, y'all. Like even when I said new planners and journals, that is a win, right? And I've actually been really enjoying my creative projects. I think that's also a win because that's really been helping me kind of mentally de-stress a little bit. So that's the reason why I put that there. So things that are currently working in my life. I did start a new workout routine at the very last week, which was the 4th week of January, and I enjoy it. So I think I'm going to put that down. Because it's something that I can follow and I don't have to set myself. Even though I like setting things myself because then I can kind of jump around and use all the equipment and stuff like that. Sometimes I think if I'm following something, it just makes it a little bit easier. So my new workout plan, I actually had been, even though I haven't had any outings, I feel like I've been a little bit more social this month when it comes to like text and stuff. That sounds really strange, but I just, I don't always do that either. So I feel like I've been more social. Non-face-to-face, but we'll just say electronically social. I think my evening schedule is still working, but it doesn't really have much going on. So I'll say my evening routine has been working minus the stretching. We'll put on there minus the stretching. Okay, I think that's what we're gonna say. So things that are currently not working in my life. AM and evening routine. That's like the big thing that's not working in my life. We're going to say touchy-feely journaling. And I'm still going to say meal prep to an extent. I still prep for one meal. And I really need to get in the habit of prepping lunch and dinners. That would really work. What I learned this month, I think what I'm learning is kind of what I've already kind of mentioned, that touchy-feely journaling is just not for me. Also, when I was thinking about some of the things that I want to learn, like I said, I really want to learn another language. I really want to hand lettering, but I can't do it all. And I'm thinking about, I don't mean I can't do it all. When people say chores and tasks and stuff like that, I mean some of these kind of extra things I want to add on type thing. The other thing I learned, I don't really know what I learned to put it in writing because I'm still struggling with motivation. I guess I can put motivation here. Gosh, a lot of things are not working. I'm just going to leave that there. What improvements or adjustments do I need to make going into next month? I think I might need to start out with simplifying routines. And what I mean by that is when I set my January, was it my January? See, I'm even confusing myself. I wanted to change up routines each week if needed. I think what I want to do is week 1, I'm going to set a routine. And maybe that's what I'll do in my action steps. And I'll focus on a routine. Maybe it'll be the evening routine. Because I feel like the morning routine is not going to have like a lot of additions. I just need to get into the habit of doing some of those other things that I keep putting off. But like the journaling and like stuff like that. But for the evening routine, there's a lot of stuff I need to get done in the evenings. Maybe I can add like one thing a week. So I can start out with the basics, the stuff that I have to get done no matter what. And then some of those extra things that I want to incorporate into the routine. Maybe like week 1, which will be, I guess, week 6 of the year, I'll add this. Week 7, I'll add this. Week 8, I'll add this. Maybe I'll try to keep adding stuff on. But as I do my weekly kind of audits, maybe I'll take stuff away, or maybe I'll just stick with the one thing. I don't know. We'll have to see what that looks like as it goes on. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So simplifying routines. I think that's going to be it. What am I most grateful for right now? I'm going to say my flexible work schedule. And again, that's because I am looking out the window at all of the snow that I'm unable to shovel because of the like 1.5 inches of sleet on top of it. And I'm just glad that I don't have to go out in it because I am able to telework this week. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And because that's what's currently going on, it's hard for me to think about other things. Habits I want to nurture next month. I am going to say journaling. And then we're going to say evening routine. And I'm going to still say wake up routine. And then a fitness routine. And an eating plan. I don't know if that's how the question you're supposed to answer it, but that's how I'm answering it. Area I want to focus on next month. I'm going to say personal. That's the area I want to focus on, which is the routines. And my overall satisfaction for this month, actually, I'm going to give it a 7. I think it was like pretty like in the middle between okay and good. So that's why it's a 7. All right, there we go. So that's the first time I've actually done reflections on like, I've talked about my goals verbally, but it's the first time I've actually written them down as far as reflections. All right, so you can probably already guess what my goals are in some of these categories as we chat. So what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to write these down and then we're going to come back so I can summarize them, because if I talk about them as I write them down, I'm going to be chatting way too much and you're going to get bored. Okay. Here we go. This actually, after I started writing, y'all, I just kept writing, but I just started breaking things down. So it's not that it's a lot. It just, I started breaking it down. So most of this we talked about, but I'm going to still kind of quickly go over the ones that we already talked about and get a little bit more in depth about the ones that we hadn't, which I don't really think is that many. So routines, like I said, this month is going to be the AM and the evening routines. At the beginning of the year, it was going to be AM, midday, evening, and things like that. Because I thought about working out in the midday, like when I'll take a lunch break, because I do need to start working early, but I need to also work a little late. So I need to have a lunch break just so that way I'm not working more than 8 hours. But I just haven't really wanted to work out midday. So I usually just been using that time to take a break. So we might play around with what I do during that time to still kind of be productive. Maybe I'll use it as a craft time, or maybe I'll film a video during that time. But I still have really been preferring to work out in the evenings, which is strange because I used to love working out like midday, but we're going to go with whatever works. So just wanted to say that's the reason why I'm focusing on my wake up routine and my evening routine. We kind of went over that. I want to start very minimal and then start adding things and then evaluating that weekly to see if I can add one more thing to it or what. I want to continue with my regular planning and check-ins. I didn't want to not put that on here just because it's going well, because it's something I need to continue with. And I did say prioritize my Hemlock and Oak a daily planner for my memory keeping, just because I've been inconsistent with it, but when I've gotten into it, I've enjoyed it. So I just need to make sure that it's kind of on my radar every day. I think I've honestly just been forgetting to do it every day because I'm thinking about 20,000 other things I need to do every day. So it's something that's going to go probably into my evening routine. It might go into my wake up routine. It might kind of fluctuate. Maybe like the first week I'll put it in my morning routine, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, evening routine, the other days, plus the weekends. We'll see. So for fun and rec, I want to focus on socialization. So I want to do 2 outings this month. We're just going to keep it 2 outings. Hopefully I can get that done. I also want to look at the March through May activities calendar. There is not an activities calendar. I just didn't know how to say it, but like Facebook has a lot of events that you can see for your local area. That's kind of what I mean. Just kind of seeing what's going on in my local area, but I put activity calendar. I don't know why. And then I want to schedule and invite. So I want to go ahead, see what I want to do. I maybe put it on someone else's radar. So then who knows, it might actually happen. I need to work on my travel memory keeper. That has been a part of my project planner to-dos for the last few weeks. Have not done it. I need to get travel insurance for my May trip and my final payment for the May trip. So what you can see here is there are a few things that are kind of goal related. Not really. My focus is socialization. These 2 right here, when I'm talking about the 2 outings and the activity calendars, there's more action steps. So this is kind of like to-dos. This is what I need to do this month. But when it comes to fun and rec, I feel like it is more to-dos versus like goals. So I just put my to-dos here. Okay. I go back and forth, but it's fine because there's things I want to get done, and this is to hopefully help me get them done. So for work and learning, I want to focus on getting ahead. What that means is I want to set up my YouTube schedule for the month of February, maybe even bounce around some new video ideas. I want to film all of my videos at least 1 week in advance. I have been doing it for some of my videos, not all of them, but it's really nice. Like when I was worried about the snowstorm and potentially losing power, when they were talking about more than a half an inch of ice, possibly up to an inch of ice, I was like, ooh, power outage. Let me hurry up and film some videos. So I did, and that gave me breathing room, and I want to get back to that where I can film my videos a week ahead of time. I want to add more short form content, and I want to post on Instagram 5 times a week. I would add TikTok, but TikTok's been kind of glitchy, so we're just going to hold off on that. That's kind of where the short form content comes in. So for family and relationships, it's connections. This is pretty much going to be identical every single month, where I want to reach out to 1+ friends. I put add to planner. What I do that you guys don't see is I haven't really done it that much in January, but last year I did it, is I picked out friends when I'm like thinking about like planning, signing up for the week that I really need to reach out to that week. Friends that I hadn't talked to, because I find myself kind of chatting with the same people over, which is great. I need to keep in contact with them, but I need to add someone else. Like I need to, like, even though I chatted with someone that I've been chatting with all month, I don't want to check that off as the friend that I reached out to. I want to reach out to someone I haven't reached out to in a while. So that needs to become something more of a priority. And I need to schedule dinner, lunch, outing. That's going to be it could be part of these outings, maybe not. I just kept consistency. Like I said, I'm not really doing my health and wellness in this particular planner. Consistency is also going to be the theme when it comes to personal growth. 3-year journal. I have 12 prompts in there, so I need to do all 12 prompts, right? Which is about 3 times a week. My affirmations journal, I put on here, do I want to change it up? I just need to write. And then I started thinking about reflective journaling. I'm like, maybe I'll just change the whole affirmations thing to more reflective journaling. I could add some more affirmations in it, which affirmations, I just pick a quote, like a self-empowerment quote or an affirmation, and just journal about how that might relate to me. Again, it's thinking about positivity and self-confidence is kind of the gist behind it. Great concept. But like I said, when it gets touchy-feely stuff, it makes me uncomfortable. So that's why I was like, maybe I can do reflective journaling. that was just a brain dump here, to be completely honest. And then memory keeping, and I put, because I already had the daily here, I put the horizontal here, which is weekly. That's been working out pretty well. I really enjoy that, y'all. I really enjoy it. It is so minimal when it comes to how much work it takes to fill out that little Hemlock and Oak horizontal planner for the week. I use it for memory keeping, and it's a 2-page spread. That's it. But I really need to amp up my photos throughout the week because I have not been the greatest. I usually just take a couple of photos one day and call it it. But I really want to get to capturing more random moments, whether it's a meal I cooked or what have you, just these random things like that. For financial, I need to track spending, specifically craft supplies, my travel non-essentials, and Amazon purchases, and then taxes, because yep, it's that time of the year. And then bedroom declutter is the only thing for my physical environment. Oh no, I just folded my page. So there we go, guys. A little in depth today because, I wanted to go ahead and do the reflections, but me going through the reflections, at least you get to hear the reflection questions, and maybe some of the things I said might have gave you some ideas or what have you as well. That's why I like doing this on camera, just because when I watch other people goal setting and stuff like that, some of the things they say, kind of like a light bulb goes off in my head, and I'm like, oh, I've never actually thought about it that way, or I never actually thought about that at all. Maybe that needs to go on my radar. So that's the reason why I like to do these videos as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. I do plan on doing these every month. Hopefully, we'll see. Certain months may have to skip just due to scheduling things and stuff like that. And I will continue with my weekly setups. I usually will try to do those maybe every other week. Some of those will include my action steps. Some may not, especially if they become repetitive, but you will see at least 1 week's worth of action steps coming up every single month. The only time I won't, cover it is if it's just repetitive from week to week. It's not like I'm keeping things personal. It's because these are not going to be very personal. But I just don't want to be super repetitive. So there we go. All right, guys. If you enjoyed it, like I said, smash that like button. If you've yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing to my channel. That is all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time. Bye.